Top of the morning to you. This is This Morning on ITV, and I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. Over the next 3 hours, there's a lot of things to talk about with what is going on in the political scene right here in Nigeria and also across the world. We'll also take you through TMI socials on this show. So all you have to do is sit down, relax, and enjoy the conversation this morning. I am not here in the studio alone. I have my wonderful colleagues, and also I would be having my colleagues join from Lagos and Abuja. But before I get to my amazing ladies over there, let me quickly move over to here in the studio. I'm blessed this morning being amongst interesting gentlemen. I feel like I'm the only woman standing right now here.
Blessed are thou amongst men.
Right? Lawrence Osipo, good to see you. Good morning.
Good to see you, Anuoluwapo Stevens. As always, you're looking dashy, like how we always say.
You're looking taxable this morning.
Taxable.
Someone said that.
My thing is with the state government and the federal government, so they have access to.
Of course. Harry Ivoji, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you, Anu. Good morning, everyone. It's indeed a blessed thing, to be in the midst of guys. It's a wonderful thing when the reverse is the case, because it's usually, the usual saying is blessed are thou amongst women.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's blessed are thou amongst men.
Interesting. Now, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure a lot of Nigerians saw what transpired a couple of days ago with our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in Turkey, the drama of the misstep. What do you make out of this? I don't want to start with Lawrence because I feel Lawrence is a banter. So let me start with you, Harry.
Okay. First off, this isn't a new phenomenon. It's something that we've been used to right from back in the day when he was contesting as president, right? It's something that we're probably already used to by now. If anyone is still surprised, then I will be surprised that they are surprised. You understand? Because you don't expect things to change in a twinkle of an eye. This has been the narrative from the very beginning. So I knew that it was going to continue, because first off, our president has a conspicuous health challenge. And besides that, he's aging. He's not getting any younger, which is one of the reasons why, it's usually advocated that one of the things you must consider before running for office, especially a coveted office as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is your age. And then, of course, your health status, okay? Because you're not just representing yourself. You're not representing your family. You're representing the whole nation. Now, I saw a picture of him being held by the hand by the president of,
Recep Tayyip Erdogan.
Exactly. This actually does say a lot. And whether we like it or not, as much as we might want to, excuse it and say, oh, well, he needs help and all of that, it's embarrassing, if you ask me.
Okay, moving to you, Lawrence. So, Bayo Onanuga did say that
Bayo, we always talk.
He doesn't have any health challenge. He stumbled or stepped on a metal object and then he fell. But the good thing is he's perfectly okay and he's good. But mind you, this is not the first time this is happening. I remember the last time the president came out to say he dobale for democracy. And this is repeating itself again. But then again, let's not forget that a lot of presidents have fallen several times. Yeah. So it's not a new thing.
African president, actually. Let's emphasize on that.
Even white guys.
Joe Biden did not really fall.
He didn't fall.
No, he didn't really fall.
He missed a step.
Joe Biden, somebody's leg was there.
He stumbled.
There's two different things. No, this was not. No, our president did not stumble. Our president fell.
But for the timely intervention of
his guys. The question I ask
myself,
you see, those guys that are always with him, the DSS that are always his guy. What were they thinking? Let president fall, rich guy, let me speak pidgin there. The president fell to the ground? No! It's not a national embarrassment, it's an international embarrassment. So if it was to be in Nigeria, they will have something for it. Probably he dobale for the new year.
Yeah.
But this is in another man's country. So what do you have to tell us? Then the presidency is coming out. Because one thing about those guys, they call it presidency. I don't think there's an office called the presidency. But these people just made that place an office. They come out, always release statements. This is what happened. This is the reality. Do something so that it wouldn't happen again. So, listen, we're humans. Everybody have the ability to fall sick. There's nobody that is a superhero. Our president has medical issues. It is there. Let's not lie about it. The fact that people voted for him as the president does not mean we should be playing politics with his health. From talking now, you hear he has gone to Europe. Just watch. He isn't coming back anytime soon. First, he did not do crossover. I will always lay emphasis on that. Every year we see president give us New Year messages on the 1st of January. It never happened this year. Now the month will be ending on Saturday. It will not cross over again from another month in another country. And we should be happy about it. I'm not happy about it. I'm not anti-Tinubu or anti-APC. Okay. But something should, when we're doing this, we should do things in reality. It doesn't make sense.
As for blaming his immediate aides, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense because, you know, at the end of the day, there is only so much that you can do, you know, for someone whose health is failing, just like we've, you know, established. The truth of the matter is that our president needs help.
He needs help.
He needs help. And even if, in fact, no matter how close you are to him, whatever is going to happen will definitely happen.
Definitely.
You understand? So there's only a little that you can do to help.
Okay, but already the presidency has said there's no health challenge whatsoever. He's perfectly fine. And I mean, you have fallen down some time, right?
No, I have. As a young guy, even with strength and vigor, I have.
Okay.
But listen,
you're healthy and strong. Let's quickly move over to Lagos. Yes. Let's join our colleagues right now in Abuja and Lagos. In Abuja, I have Charity Tanko standing by. And also Lagos, Mercelina Unkwo. Good morning, Mercelina. How are you and how's Lagos this morning?
Lagos is beautiful. Good morning, Anu. Good morning, Harry, and good morning, Lawrence. Lagos is good. I mean, I've been seeing a couple of videos about the president's misstep. You know, a lot of persons coming out saying that, okay, he missed a step, while some persons are saying it's actually health issues. You know, I would always say our president is not a young person. I mean, he's aged, and at the same time, anybody can miss a step. But talking about the health issues, a lot of persons on the internet, went to the internet saying that our president has health issues. You know, he needs to take care of himself instead of flying from one country to the other. Like, it's embarrassing. This is not the first time seeing our president, you know, miss a step like the last one where he said Idobale for Nigerians. But at the same time, you know, I would say is anybody can miss their steps. But seeing that particular video, I wouldn't say he missed a step, probably because of his health issues or something, which needs to be looked at, and you know, he needs to take care of himself. I mean, he's aged, like I said. But from Lagos, we are also going to be looking at something like that, but not the missteps issue. What we are looking at is the visit he went to. You know, of course, he went to Nigerian and Turkey relationship. What the new $5 billion trade target mean for the economy and security in Nigeria. You know, himself and the president of Turkey, they actually they reaffirmed a strategic partnership aimed at significantly expanding their bilateral relationship. So that is what we'll basically be talking about from Lagos today. We would be having a political analyst that would help us talk about this particular issues on this table today.
Interesting, and I'm sure a lot of Nigerians are looking forward to it. With the incessant travels, we get to see the trips, we get to see our president do every single time. What is the dividend of all of these trips? I'll ask over and over again. Now, moving back to the gentleman in the studio, another major thing running on the people's mind is the issue of the normalization of politics in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians online and offline, debate has been sparked, and people are asking, is Nigerian politics a political inheritance? Lately, we saw in the news where the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi's son in Ebonyi State, did win a local government councilorship election in that place. We've also seen Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the FCT, moving around with his son every single time with all of the local government tours he did in the state. And the news has it that he is grooming him up for the House of Representatives position. Not only that, just recently, a couple of of days ago, we saw Kwankwaso, his son, resigned as the Commissioner of Youth in the state. And this is not the first time we're seeing this. This would not be the last. What is the chances, or what are the chances of you and I, if you want to delve into politics, to actually become a politician in Nigeria? Moving back to Lawrence Nsifo, let me hear your thoughts on this.
You know, the question will always be, who is your daddy in Nigeria? Who is your daddy? Okay, talking about Dave Umahi,
right,
the former two-time governor of Ebonyi State. I was opportune to serve in that state between 2018 and 2019 when he was running for his second term as a governor. I know him, like I've seen him. I've not just seen him. That son that is not a councillor, I've seen that guy is a very small boy. When I say small boy now, he's above 18 anyway,
right,
constitutional age of an adult in Nigeria. But you see, it's really, really disheartening that this is all we find ourselves. Like, we're now turning democracy into monarchical system of government where it is from father to son, son to another, you know, generation just continue like that. So if your father is nobody, obviously you are nobody in the political cycle. It's not only these people you mentioned, though. In Edo, we have one in Edo. We have one in Edo, former governor's son, who is a commissioner. But if you are capable, if you have the wherewithal, no problem. I don't have a problem with that. If you have what it takes to be there, you're very good. The Constitution says you should be there. But when we now make it to become a lifestyle, we're now turning democracy into monarchy. They are two different of government entirely. So I think we need more laws, stringent laws. But the people who are supposed to pass this law, they are also grooming their children. You will hear one day now that Akpabio's son or daughter will be the governor of Akwa Ibom State.
Right,
you know,
Harry,
so
quickly.
Well, just like he said, I don't think there's any constitutional provision against anybody who is eligible running for office.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not really the problem here. The real problem, if you ask me, is how all of these affects the common man.
Exactly.
Okay, now they are grooming their children to take over from them. Now, this gives an idea that they are building an empire, a political empire.
Absolutely.
What is the fate of the average person on the streets who doesn't even have a chance at the throne? And by the throne, of course, you know I'm talking about political offices. Now, it just leaves the average person out. It, you know, this what's the word now? Discourages and disadvantages, you know, the average person on the streets. And, you know, this tells you that the future, the political future of Nigeria is bleak.
very, very bleak.
Moving over to you, Marcelina, what are your thoughts on this? And how many person can even afford the nomination form in Nigeria?
Let's not just go there.
The other day in Kwara State, we heard that youth actually gathered to buy the nomination form for our president, 100 million naira. How many persons can even afford this? And what do you make out of the whole situation?
That is one problem I would say Nigerians have, or one issues we are battling with. How many persons can actually afford this? How many persons can afford it? The question remains, like Harry said earlier, what is the faith of ordinary Nigerians? You know, those persons that are people or that do not have anybody in the political house or the political space, what is their faith? You know, from father to son, from son to grandson, you know, it has become a generational something. If you don't have anybody there, you do not stand a chance. And it is not supposed to be like that. I mean, in Nigeria, not just in Nigeria, probably other countries, but it's rampant in Nigeria. You see a president, you see the president's son becoming this, becoming that, and the ordinary Nigerians do not even stand a chance. And it is not supposed to be like that. I mean, I'm not in support of that. Nobody's ordinary Nigerians were not in support of that. But who are we in the country? You know, from father to son, from son to grandson, and it continues like that. I mean, these things needs to stop, and ordinary Nigerians needs to be given a chance.
Absolutely. Even the girls, the females are not left out. I mean, Senator Chiefy Bori, the former governor of Delta State, his daughter is in politics, doing pretty well, interestingly. But anyway, moving over to Charity Tanko in Abuja. Good morning, Charity. I'm sure you've been in on all of the conversation we've been having so far. Run us through what you make out of it and what we'll be getting from your plate this morning.
All right, good morning, Anu Oluwako, and good morning, Marcelina. Well, from the Abuja Network Center, we will be talking about security, but let me say something concerning the political atmosphere in Nigeria. 100 million for nomination forms. We know how it plays out, it always plays out. And for so many years, people have been calling and talking about demonetization of politics. This is why we continue to have people jumping into politics even when they do not have business in politics. Even though we know that every human being is a politician by nature, but when it comes to the game of politics in Nigeria, it's always about how deep your pockets are, how fat your account is, and then the next thing is the number of people. But of course, we know that the deeper your pockets, the chances are for you to get as many people as possible to vote for you one way or the other, because vote buying has become something like it has become like a norm that has been accepted in Nigeria. Yes, over the years, stakeholders have been calling on political parties to bring down the prices of their nomination forms, but it keeps getting more expensive. And I want to believe that there is a reason for this. Maybe it's to discourage certain people from coming into politics. There are people who, by their nature, by what they have done in the country, and you check their history, you know that they are qualified for certain positions. And because the people are with them, when they come out, they will definitely win elections. But because of that, people, they know that they don't have the money, so they have to increase the price to that up to that 100 million naira. But let's see what happens. This is politics in Nigeria, and this is what we've been dealing with. In Abuja here, we are going to be discussing security. You know, security is a subject that can never be overlooked in Nigeria. It's a continuous conversation. We're going to be looking at the successes and also the challenges of security situation in Nigeria.
Amazing. I'm sure a lot of interesting viewers are looking forward to all of the conversation this morning. Thank you so much, ladies. We'll join you in a bit. Well, right here in our Benin Network studio, our main attention would be as we get to move towards the 2027 election, we are going to look at INEC's continuous voter registration, the need for public enlightenment. And we'll have our guest, Dr. Samuel Onyemechi, HLD VEP, INEC Edo State, join us live in the studio this morning. We'll also turn our attention to Anambra State. There has been a bit of struggle and shenanigans, I would say, between Onitsha main markets traders and the state governor, with the sit-at-home order. We'll look at that as well this morning. We'll have, hopefully, the chief press secretary to the governor of Anambra State talk to us this morning. We'll quickly take a short break. When we return, we'll move over to a couple of national dailies this morning. Please join us again. Welcome back. Now we'll move over to a couple of national dailies this morning, but we have our newspaper analyst joining us live from Abuja, Aro Leonard. He is the Cleverell Communications Media Development Expert and also the founder. Good morning, and thank you so much for waiting up until this time.
Good morning. Good to be back here again.
Absolutely. Now let's quickly move over to the Nation newspaper this morning. We kickstart with the Nation newspaper, and the major headline says APC kicks off Congress's convention plans Monday. Subreddit says governor's okay schedule after meeting with NWC. You get that details on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Well, still on the front page of the Nation this morning, business icon Adekunle Ojara dies at 93. On page 3, PENCOM approves upward review for 2,116 retirees. Well, you get details of that on the Nation this morning. Oyetola Algorn, APC, faults Adelica's claims on cancels on page 2. Government set to reclaim ungoverned spaces with military retirees on page 27. House seeks federal government intervention in disputes between Ondo Ogun over oil fields on page 29. Well, still on the front page of the Nation this morning. Tax laws not altered, says Akpabio on page 3. Shatima bankers urge shift from aid to investment on page 7. Mr. Leonard, which of these stories would you love to react to this morning?
With the one about the ungoverned spaces. There are lots of ungoverned spaces in Nigeria, and that is one issue where banditry and all these kind of issues thrive. You can see how hidden it was on the newspaper daily. You would have stories around APC, politics, making waves. But some of these little stories, those are the ones that really mean much and are more important to us as a nation. Now, for federal government to say they want to start manning those spaces with ex-military personnel and so on, it's good. It's an addition to security. And, you know, this way of closing up security, we keep talking about the community police issue and all that. It's just a way of just allowing security issues to thrive. When we were younger, in the old Bendel state where you are, you know, every compound adds, every community, every street adds civil defense. Young men in every compound have to come out every night. They had rosters. Now, all of a sudden, these things vanished. Now, when these things were operating, it was a form of community policing. So for federal government to think of bringing ex-servicemen to come in, that's a plus. So that's something we should add into the discussion that we are talking about. Which other story is there from the Nation? Now, I don't have that paper with me, but the one of politics that they talk about, APC and all that, that is usually the front runner. And I think it's high time in Nigeria we start de-emphasizing such, because we don't have any useful development, you know, coming out of there. But that's always the front runner. We talk about individuals defecting. So if it defects, so what? What concerns us more is what is that person doing? I am chatting with you now from Yola in Adamawa State, and I've been here before. I came in here and I saw developments that the current governor is doing here. You know, things like that. What are the things that should be shared? Not just this person moves from one party to another, carries his wahala from one place, takes it to the other one. Then what's of what use?
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next paper. We have the New Telegraph. Is leading by U.S. airstrike security isn't something we discuss in open market, says Akpabio. U.S. airstrike security isn't something we discuss in open market, says Akpabio. Above the masthead, you can see FG, World Bank, NGF collaborate on healthcare reforms. On page 2, Oji Kalu Partners GCL Group on strategic lithium resource in development. Also, on page 4, JAM varsity student can write UTME warns against non-disclosure. On page 1, you can see I say stay at home. Soludo threatens revocation of shops orders, page 27 and 39, which will also be a part of our conversation with the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor in the course of the show. Also on page 2 and 6, boardroom guru Otumba Adegunle Ojora dies at 93. Below that, NLC TUC reject court order, insists FCT workers strikes continues. You can find that on page 4. We saw the whole hula baloo that played out in Abuja within the week, locking out the minister of the FCT outside. He was whisked from the back gate, they said. All right, on page 2, we can see police nab suspect over alleged 7.7 billion naira airtime diversion, FHQ. So, Leonard, let's have your thoughts on any of these leading stories on the New Telegraph.
Let's talk about the security one. These days, you know, in Nigeria, we know how to develop new terms. Like when you were talking about the president sleeping and then they give excuse for democracy and things like that. You know, we like to develop new terms. Now, one of the terms politicians are now using for security issues, you know, is to tell us that security, you know, what they are doing is not what you talk in the marketplace or what you talk about in public. The military also says that. It's just one of the ways of just coming out to tell us that you don't know exactly what you are doing, because there are specific things you'll still be able to say that we are putting in place, not just come and tell us it's not something. There are things. It's just like the one of the ungoverned space I talked about. There are things that you can say that do not necessarily, you know, put any life in danger or diminish the strategy or anything. We hear the U.S. government talk about so many things, you know, that they could do and will do and things like that. You know, what are we talking about? What do we have here? So they should stop that rhetoric. And I would like journalists to engage those who make those rhetoric and put them on the spot, because it needs to stop. We need to know what's really going on. There must be something. And when there's something going on, we'll see it. From there, I'll move to the Onitsha market one. You see, the challenge is not in the market. The market is well secured. The market is well secured. So the challenge is not in the market. So the challenge has always been elsewhere, where the traders have to pass to come to the market. That is where the challenge is, and that is where we need to look at. That's where the challenge is. That's where we need to look at, not in the market itself. So you're shutting down the market because they don't open their store. They are telling you that it's not that. The issue is that they cannot come from where they are. You have traders coming as far as from Delta State to trade. They live in Delta. You know, Asaba is just close to Onitsha. They live in Delta because you have better accommodation there and more space and all that. Onitsha is congested. Some live in Unnewi, Nkpo. You know, a lot of areas, and they come to trade in Onitsha market. So what the government should come out is to tell us how they are securing the routes. Before I leave where I am to come to the market, what security are you putting in place there? So those are the kind of assurances the government needs to give, not just slamming the traders. Even though in some cases, the traders...
Thank you, Leonard. Thank you. Those are very important factors to consider indeed. I would like us to take a look at the Leadership newspaper, and the major headline here says 2027, Kano APC Ganduje clash with Kwankwaso over Yusuf. 2027, Kano APC Ganduje clash with Kwankwaso over Yusuf. And then on page 7, you find Obasanjo's daughter Iyabo joins APC, just like we were, you know,
had that conversation earlier.
Seriously, and it's so funny.
It's a family affair.
It is. So this is a confirmation of what we were saying earlier, and we really can't wait to sample your thought on that, sir. And then, of course, I'm still on the Leadership newspaper. You find this on page 21, and it says, police uncover 7.7 billion naira telecom fraud, arrest 6 suspects. Police uncover 7.7 billion naira telecom fraud, arrests 6 suspects. That's a very serious one. And on page 23 of the Leadership newspaper, you'll find the headline that says, politicians behind Onitsha main market sit-at-home protests. And that's credited to Soludo. And then finally on the Leadership newspaper, you'll find this on page 4. And on page 4, it says, commotion as police disperse protesting Lagos residents. Commotion as police disperse protesting Lagos residents. Now, I would like to know which of these stories you would want to respond to, Leonard.
Of the grooming children. Now, honestly speaking, I listened to your discussion earlier. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like you groom your children to take over your business. Let me put it like that. Now, you see people grooming their children because they are doctors, grooming their children to become doctors. There's nothing wrong about that, right? In its own. But the problem is that in Nigeria, not only Nigeria, in fact, it's worse in so many other countries. Nigeria, we are even trying. You know, when you look at other countries, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, there are so many of them like that. It's terrible. Even in the Congo, there, we have the Kabila case. Now, the problem is that it's usually done for selfish purposes to cover up evil that has been done. So bring your children in. But like the Obasanjo case, we saw where the daughter, you know, at one stage even went against the father, even though the father brought her in. So such things happen. Even the Saraki case wasn't that smooth with the son at some point. So we've had that kind of case. So there's nothing wrong with it. But what we need to do is strengthen the systems. Let it not be that this person is only coming in and winning elections because of the father. Okay? In Benin, Edo State where you are, in Edo State where you are, you've had cases like that. But when the quality of the people, you know, have been checked, you know, you don't find anything wanting, you know, that stops this person from aspiring to that post. Now, when the situation is like that, there's nothing wrong with it at all, you know. So we should look at the quality of the person involved.
Mr. Leonard, yes, all right. Now let's move over to Nigerian Tribune this morning, and it's leading with a major headline that says, "Man," that's M-A-N, "laments energy costs as Peter Obi knocks Tinubu over electricity stability." Subrider says more than 676.6 billion naira spent on alternate energy on the first quarter of 2025. Manufacturers has that to say on page 2. Police tear gas anti-demolition protesters at Lagos Assembly Complex on page 20. Sit at home, Soludo vows clamp down on more markets on page 20. Insecurity, 2 Kwara local government areas declared 24-hour curfew. You get details of that on page 16. While still on Nigerian Tribune this morning, police arrest 6 suspects over 7.75 billion naira telecom fraud. Subrider says recovered 2 residential houses in Kano, 2 mini plazas, 400 laptops, 1,000 mobile phones. Oh my God, that is a lot. Well, this is Nigeria at the end of the day.
This is Nigeria. I will always say that. This is
well,
Nigeria.
On page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, Naira strengthens to record 1,400 Naira per dollar at official market. I think that sums it for the Nigerian Tribune this morning. But I'd love you, Mr. Leonard, to react to this main headline this morning that says, "Man laments energy cost as Peter Obi knocks Tinubu over electricity stability." Now, this is just the first month in the year 2026, and the national grid has collapsed twice this month. Please go ahead.
It's like, just like you read my mind, that's the one I wanted to take there. While this was going on, if you notice, the light went off, and I'm even in a hotel, and the light went off. Yeah, and that's why my picture vanished a bit. Now that's the biggest.
Well, welcome back.
But this is Nigeria.
Exactly. That's the biggest issue in Nigeria. You get it. So when the manufacturers are talking about electricity, see, you have a radio station. I set up radio and TV stations, for instance, and broadcasters, you guys don't talk about yourselves. You suffer the case of electricity more than any other sector in Nigeria. Diesel cost for an average station takes, for those who make revenue, like you guys, you make revenue, it takes like 70 to 80% of the cost. And then upon that, the fact that you are paying for electricity, paying for everything, National Grid will now collapse. Now, the DISCOs, the issue with the DISCOs is this. Federal government comes and says DISCOs should give out the meters for free because they got a grant to provide these meters. Now, the DISCOs are saying that, yes, we can give these meters out for free, but human beings will have to go install those meters. So who is paying for that cost? And that is what the federal government is not talking about. What about the logistics around getting the meters and all that? There are human beings working there that will be involved in this process. Who is going to pay for that cost? So what you find now with this is increased corruption. Just before flying out of Abuja, my neighbor who just moved in wants to get a new meter and goes there and they say, look, yes, it is free, we know, but you have to pay us XYZ. And where does that money go to? The DISCOs can't declare that money, but neither can they sanction any staff who is asking for such, because they know that people have to be paid to do the job. So I think the federal government needs to go back and look at it again. I am not standing in for the DISCOs because they are one of the most corrupt set of organizations in Nigeria with the kind of billing system and the insincerity they have. But they need to discuss. Federal government should not just put blankets saying meters have to be free. There needs to be, give them go ahead to charge for the installation and things like that. We have these meters. Let people not be suffering, meters are there. They are hesitant about giving it. Now, when everybody has meter, if they take their lights, I won't pay now. That's the thing. I could go do solar and then your meter is there wasting. I remember when they introduced the meters newly in my area in Abuja, they were giving us 24 hours. Like, in fact, for a full week, they didn't take the lights because they wanted us to pay. It's pay as you go. So when meters are there, DISCOs will be forced through any...
All right, Leonard, thank you. Let's wrap up with the Daily Sun this morning. Though while you had your fair share over there, we also had our fair share while we're talking about... The power went off too over here, so but our picture did not vanish like yours did. Okay, let's look at what the Daily Sun is saying this morning before we call it a wrap. The Daily Sun is leading. Hope rises for mandatory election results transmission. Subrider, as Senate begins Electoral Act amendment, holds executive session today. All right, above the man's head, Carlos Sweebers Group, Chinese firm, signed agreement on energy system development. You can find that on page 25 of the Daily Sun. All right, below you can find FGOK's new satellites to power 1 trillion naira economy in page 2. Subrider says 90,000 kilometer fiber optic project 60% ready. Obi fires Tinubu's over incessant power failure, says no second term for him. You can find that on page 6. We're going to be getting reaction from Bayo Onanuga and Daniel Bwala very soon. Also on page 27, Erdogan eyes $5 billion trade volume with Nigeria as Tinubu sees Nike D's in Ankara in Turkey. And finally, on the Daily Sun, Akpabio dismisses claim of tax law alteration, direct distribution to all senators, page 26. Let's have your final thought on this last paper before we allow you go attend to other things. Leonard.
See, the last election would have been one of the best elections in Nigeria if the results were transmitted electronically and then nobody had any issue. So if the Senate is white, National Assembly is white, see, they have disappointed us enough, but we could forgive them if they pass this act immediately. And INEC wants it to be passed, the people in INEC. So you find out that it's our politicians that are actually causing this problem, because the people in INEC, even during the last election, wanted these reforms to be done. While at BBC Media Action were part of those, the media was largely involved in pushing for these reforms, working with all those people. They want it to be done. It's our politicians that are sitting on these reforms. So if the Senate is wise, at least let them just do this thing. They will forgive them for half, not all, half of their sins so far.
All right, thank you so much, Leonard, for your very brilliant analysis of our headlines on our major dailies this morning. A very big thank you to you, and we're hoping that the next time we call on you, you will oblige us. Thank you again. Well, it's still TMI on Independent Television, and don't go nowhere. We will be joining you right after this break. Please stay tuned.
great to know that you're still there with us. This is This Morning on ITV. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, resumed the nationwide continuous voter registration exercise, signaling the start of the second phase process. The resumption, which took effect on Monday, was confirmed by the Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, Adedayo Oketola, when we reached out to him. So the resumption follows the conclusion of the first phase of the CVR, which officially ended on December 10th, 2025. Now, according to the Commission, over 2 million registrations were fully completed nationwide as of November 28th, 2025. Now, this figure comprises of over 1 million completed online registrations and, of course, over 1 million registration concluded through the physical enrollment. Joining us this morning, our guest live seated in the studio is Dr. Samuel Onyemaechi Sunday. He is the head of department VEP, INEC Edo State. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, HOD.
Yeah,
good to have you.
Thank you for having you.
Well, good. Voter education and publicity, right? That's the VEP.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, what is CVR? What is the process like for CVR?
CVR is a continuous voter registration.
Okay.
Now, for us to talk about CVR, which is continuous voter registration, means that this is a process whereby non-Nigerians who have not registered, but now turned to the age of 18, they can now go and register. Apart from the registration, we also have other things concerning CVR. We look at those that their card had defaced, who have lost their cards. The card I'm talking about is permanent voters card.
Not ATM card. Okay.
Then, those who lost their cards and damaged ones, they can now go and make a proper documentation for new ones.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Talking about the CVR now, who is eligible that can register or re-register for the CVR? When we talk about eligibility now, between so and so age or between so and so gender, who is really eligible for this?
Now, the people that are eligible to register now are not just them alone, are those who have turned to the age of 18 in Nigeria. Those also who have lost their cards can also go and make some changes by approaching any of the INEC offices within the 18 local government in Edo State. Yes.
Okay.
So, despite the CVR, that's the continuous voter registration exercise ongoing, there are so many Nigerians who haven't registered. We have so many unregistered Nigerians, and the question is why? What do you think could be the main reason? Is it that INEC is not doing enough as regards sensitization, there is no enough awareness going on, or it's just a lackadaisical attitude from Nigerians?
I think sometimes Nigerians are not quick to take actions when the action is needed most. Just the last minute rush, see they're not going for registration. So I would advise, be in the position I am now, that Nigerians should go out there and register. Because if you register as a voter in Nigeria, it will create a lot of economic value. If we are talking about roads, talking about letting a proper leader that will lead us or make things better for us for Nigeria, if it is through your card, which you have registered to vote. So this will make us to make out there and go out there to register presently. We cannot say that we are not been, talking about voter registration on both TV, radio, even most of the time we go to market outreach churches to let Nigerians know that this is the time for them to register. But next year we are going for election. So if you are not registered now, you cannot vote for a credible candidate to rule Nigeria.
But there are still those who would believe that there is still a communication gap with the issue of enlightenment for those in the markets, just as you said, those on the roads and every single body, because we don't even see enough on the traditional media, not to also talk of online. That's the new media.
No, we are always there in the churches to let people know, also go to marketplaces to let people know that there's ongoing registration now. And within this period that we are doing that registration, Nigerians are so weak to go out there and to register. So I don't know why they are so unconcerned about it. So we suggest now that the registration is going on, every Nigerian should go. If you have not registered before, go and register.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are there special formalities for this CVRO registration process? Is it that there are special, I'm trying to look for another word, but are there special formalities like you have to be formal, you have to go there and spend all your day from morning to evening, or you need to go on fill form, because Nigeria will know how to fill form so much. Even if what you want to do, you have a form, they'll give you another form again. So are there special formalities to that effect?
There's no formal formalities on that.
Okay.
The only thing is for you to make yourself available to any of the offices. For example, local government headquarters. The INEC machines or computers are there. INEC workers are there waiting for registration. Any person who goes there will be registered. You go to INEC headquarters, number 3, Archie Benin Road, where the INEC headquarters in the door. They are there registering people. You see a crowd of people and they are attended to every day.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the position of INEC in this registration process? Because some of us have seen over the years that people actually register to get PVCs, not because they want to use it to vote. Probably they have issues in the bank. Bank now tell them, come and upgrade your account. Make I go do PVC now, might fulfill upgrade my account. Do you think this is the position as it stands right now?
INEC position for registration is 1. You must register under by proxy.
You can register by proxy,
yes,
on behalf of somebody?
Yes.
Okay.
Then they are not underage. So if you don't attain the age of 18.
How do you know underage?
We know them by facial group.
If I tell you,
have someone who is small in size and big in age,
exactly.
right?
They are like that.
But we have a system that can also determine who you are.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, we have a system like that that can determine your age. So the only thing there is sometimes you see underage people who claim to be 18 years. No, we don't accept it. So you must attain the age of 18. The next one is double registration. Some people have registered before.
Yes.
They still want to register again. When we use there's a system where we call iFix. Now here, if you are registered before and you want to register again, that's double registration. Okay. And automatically you will not have that PVC because your name will appear 2 times. So iFix cannot fit it out and make the short that
you registered before.
Yeah, registered before. Now what I also advise Nigerians is those who have registered as at 2011, they should not go back and register. That their card is still valid. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that their card is still valid.
Because the voter's card does not expire, does it?
No, it does not expire.
Okay.
But make sure that you don't lose it.
Yeah.
And you keep it. And even if there is problem of damage or defaced, you go back to INEC office. As far as like now we are doing registration, they will attend to you and make sure they give you a new one. Not that you are doing another registration.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's go back to the previous election we had in 2023, the general election. What would you say were some of the difficulties INEC experienced during that period? What are the lessons INEC have learned that should be implemented moving forward in the coming election for 2027, especially with regards registration and creating awareness?
I have said it before. We are not quick to take action when action is needed. Nigerians. And we also see that even the Edo people where we are now, most of them are not ready to go out there and register. You see, so most of these things should be addressed. I don't know if because of their interest in the electoral process or their lack of interest to vote.
A lot of persons have lost confidence.
No, they cannot lose confidence because INEC is a body, it's a commission.
Okay.
And we are under authority. So we can do our own. Anything that concerns electoral processes is not done by INEC alone.
Okay.
The stakeholders are there.
Now
INEC are there. And even when you bring them as ad hoc personnel, they also do their own duty. So there are a lot of forces that could create all these problems. Okay. So as go to 2023 election, we have learned a lot because we also upgrade our shortcomings within the period and also find that most of these problems are not directly to INEC. It's not done by INEC alone or anything like that. So we feel that some stakeholders are part of the problem of Nigerian electoral processes.
Okay.
When you say stakeholders, what do you mean? Who are you referring to? Are you referring to the
politicians
the political parties?
Or the electorate?
Right.
Who are the stakeholders that are part of the problem?
The electorate are there.
Okay.
Even you are
No, I'm not part of them.
No, that make it make sense. How can the electorate be part of the problem? When INEC on its own, it's a body that receives annual monies to
budgets
on
huge,
to
humongous.
create out all of this election.
Can you say that money can solve all the problem you need as a human being? Is what you mean?
Not really, though.
Well, to an extent, it can.
It can. You can have the money, but you don't know how to use it.
You don't know how to use it. That's the challenge.
Yes.
Okay. So are you saying that is what is going on with INEC? But
No, I'm not talking about INEC.
He's talking about the stakeholders
The stakeholders.
Okay.
Because sometimes they feel that they can manipulate the system because they have the money. But INEC will not succumb to that.
Okay.
So that's what you should know.
Okay. Now, let's move back now to the CVRO. What are the processes of doing this? Do I need to pay? Because people are viewing you right now. You as the head of the voter education and publicity of INEC Edo State. They want to hear from you. When I come to your office, for instance, I want to re-register or register afresh, or I have a lost, damaged card defaced. Am I paying money? Because almost everything we do in Nigeria have to be monetary. Do I need to pay? The people need to hear from you as the head of that department.
There's no way you can come to INEC to pay money.
Okay.
For anything.
So what if someone there, a bad egg in INEC, asks me for money? What do I do?
No. Because unless you want to lose your job, INEC will not take a candidate with any staff who does that.
Okay.
And not one person can do that in INEC. Because we are trained as professionals in the electoral process. And you know what to do. Because you are attending to the public. So you must be credible in the activities and services. So INEC live above those issues.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's look at the duration for the CVRO. When I mean duration now, the time from maybe January to when, and your days, like your time frame for every day. When do you open? When can people come in to your either your offices, the headquarter office, or the local government offices?
Yes, officially, like every day now, since we started from 5th of January, and we are ending this phase or this quarter on 17th of April.
Okay.
Then the time frame for example, this morning, every person who wants to go for registration should go by 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. And the office closes by 3.
9 to 3.
9
That's
to 3.
6 hours.
Yes.
Daily.
Yes, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Unless those who are there, and the next staff must finish registering them.
Everybody
as
that
far
are
as
there.
you are there that day.
Okay.
Possibly on the queue or you are seated. The workers will not leave you to go back. They must attend to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, are we going to see extension of the registration period? And would there be any possible phase 3 of this exercise?
Yes, we have phase 3, we have the phase 4.
Oh,
Okay.
phase 3 and phase 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Like phase 1 started on 18th of August 2025. We are now in the second phase, which started on 5th of January to end on 17th April. Then the third phase start from May 5th. Yes, and end on the August. Yes. Then the fourth quarter now start from August to December.
Okay.
Okay, that is the phases.
Okay.
Okay, well, we are still talking as regards INEC CVR registration exercise going forward and the need for mass public enlightenment. And we have our guest seated with us here in the studio, Dr. Onyemechi. We'll quickly take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to talk about the fact that we've been seeing a bit of campaigning going on. Or is it that campaigning window has officially opened and the INEC sector and Nigerians are pretty much not aware? We'll talk about all of that and more right after this break.
This is an Egbete community situated in Isako Central Local Government Area of Edo State. It is an agrarian community with united people that promotes unity and oneness for peaceful coexistence. The inhabitants of the community migrated from Benin, the cradle of black civilization, a kingdom where king is truly king. The ancestors of Anegbete saw that age was the main determinant of leadership in the rural setting, and the eldest man in the settlement was regarded as the leader who presided over meetings, and his authority is held in high esteem. To further strengthen this unique system of leadership, age group evolved in Anegbete.
Well, the need for public enlightenment as we get to move over to 2027 election is our focal point this morning, and Dr. Samuel Onyemechi, the HOD of the VEP Edo State Chapter INEC, is here with us in the studio. So back to you. We talked about the fact that we've been seeing a bit of campaigning unofficially.
Now about the election, I don't think it's acceptable to go by the electoral act. So everything has its own time.
Are there consequences for falters?
Yes, but
has it been effective in Nigeria?
Exactly, that is the question, the effectiveness.
Because it seems there are those who are above the law who could just do things and
I think electoral act is silent on the punishments.
Why should it be silent on the punishment?
I think that's what I'm saying there. Electoral act is silent on it.
Okay.
Okay, kindly just to run us through the process, the campaigning, the registration period, the campaign, and everything as regards to election in Nigeria. Run us through that process.
Yes, everything has a process. Presently, we are on the CVR.
Okay.
And the election, if we go by ANEC timetable, is next year. So I think before the election proper, there's a time frame for campaign. Do you understand? Yes.
Okay, let's talk about transfer of polling units. For instance, I was living in Auchi. Somehow, I moved to Benin City.
Yes.
Or I was living in Benin City. Somehow, I moved to Auchi.
Yes.
Or any other of the 18 local government, moving from one local government to the other. And we've been always been told that you have to register, or your polling unit should be proximity to where you live, because on election day there will be a restriction of movement and all that. In terms of transfer, how do people go about transfers? Those that want to transfer from one place to another.
Okay, issue of transfer is issue you can do in two ways.
Okay.
For example, if I have your smartphone,
yeah,
you can go online and do a transfer. When you do all the necessary documentation,
you do it personally without the help of INEC.
No, I'm coming. With your smartphone, you can do it. The only thing you come back to INEC is your face capturing.
Okay.
Yes, that is online. Now, in-person transfer, you must get to any nearby INEC offices.
That's in-person transfer.
In-person now. Then where you can go to the local government or come to INEC headquarters. So I think that can be done. So they move you from the point where you are to the place you are supposed to be.
Okay.
Yes.
You already touched on damaged PVCs or
yes.
defaced PVCs.
Yes.
But let's look at security. Because one thing people are very scared of most time when it comes to election, whether you're going to register for a new voter's card or anything you want to go, man, not going to reach there, they fight, or the local balance kind of. What is the security architecture, both at the state headquarters, at your local government offices, or at your registration or CVR points?
Okay. Security-wise, we have known the importance of security to humanity. Now, as far as our next job is concerned, we don't joke with people's life. So security has been put in place. For example, from 2nd of February, which is next week, Monday, ANEC is devolving to wards level, the registration areas.
Okay.
They are now moving to communities.
Okay.
Now, security have been put in place now. Like presently, all the electoral officers in the state, in the 18 states of yes, have been doing their stakeholders meeting, talking with the DPOs and some security personnel within each of the local government. Now, the DPOs in each of these local government will be sending security men because they are now moving to the wards, to the communities for registration. And within each of the local communities or wards, where the registration is going to be, they'll be devolving for about 5 days in each ward. They moved another one.
Okay.
So it cannot fully be centralized.
So that's like one week
yes,
somehow.
Yes, to each of the wards to make sure that all the communities
are captured
or wards are mopped up for this registration. Because some of these rural areas, so they are not coming to the cities where the registration is going or to local government, so they are now moving closer to them before it is fully centralized.
Okay. Now let's talk about the age group. So over time, who are those age group? Is it the older folks or the younger folks that you've observed that mostly get to register for this CVR, for the PVC?
The age group here,
right.
That underaged?
Yes. Who gets to register more? In terms of the statistics that you've observed so time, here in Edo State and generally in Nigeria, who gets to register more? Is it older folks?
Is it the older folk or the younger
people?
folks?
It's the younger people.
The younger people?
Yes.
Okay.
The youths who have attained the age of 18.
And so far it hasn't fallen?
No. They are also at high level of registration.
Okay, right. So we'll be leaving the conversation soon, but what would you want to say to that Nigerian who feels that all hope has been lost in Nigeria, right, as regards election, it's been rigged, election result has been marred, and every other thing in between? What would you say to that person?
I think what I would say to Nigerians is sometimes we carry information which is not truthful. So participate and see how the system will work. Where you also feel unconcerned not to participate in the registration or electoral processes, you shouldn't blame the system. You shouldn't blame ANEC, because we, the citizens, want to know what we want and go for it through our electoral processes. We register, we vote. Now the system will work. So nobody will say, because I didn't register and we're having these leaders. It is their power. Registration is their power. Their PVC is their power to decide who to vote for and who not to vote for.
How powerful is this PVC?
Yeah, it's very PVC because a vote can make a change.
You think so?
Yeah.
In Nigeria?
Yes.
With the way
because
we are.
if I'm to win you in election now and I have one PVC or one vote ahead of you, I've won you. So that vote you are registering or the card you are registering will help you to make a change. Yes. Because where you are unconcerned, so those are not to participate, not to register, not to come for electoral processes, then don't blame the system. So with our vote, with our registration, and with our card, we can make a change.
Okay.
Yes.
As the head of voter education and publicity, ANEC Edo State, let the people just tell them something, one thing you think they will hold you for, and say this was what HOD said.
What I will let my people in Edo State to do is to go and register. If you register and have your PVC, permanent voters card, it will make a change in the electoral process in Nigeria.
Okay.
And Edo State in particular. Yes.
No, thank you so much, Dr. Samuel Onyemechi Sunday, HOD VEP, INEC Edo State Chapter. Thank you for gracing the studio today.
Thank you, ma'am.
And hopefully we'll have you on board, come to talk to us, enlighten us regarding everything regards the election in Nigeria.
Thank you.
So anyway, you've heard it loud and clear from him. Here are my closing remarks. The continuous voter registration is not an INEC exercise. It is a civic responsibility. Democracy only works when citizens participate, and participation begins with registering to vote. If you're eligible, take that step. today. Your PVC is your voice, and your voice matters in shaping Nigeria's future. Thank you so much for joining us on the Notes today. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to Abuja, where Charity Tanko is on.
Thank you.
In Anegbete, age group is categorized into two, that is, the common and the noble. Anegbete is rich in cultural heritage, as the community at noon saw the commitment of the festival with the first set roll out in beauty colors to showcase their might and strength, indicating their feet and ready for the responsibilities behold on them. The streets in the community with a feed up of young men and women adorned with the festival. Later, the royal family takes the stage as their children fight out royally and work in the community to showcase their might and fitness.
My leader.
This is Akwa Game, a popular game in Africa played by our ancestors to entertain themselves after each day of farming. It is also relevant in our coronation in Africa. It is a sport and indeed very interesting, as every seed had a role in the game. playtime is 45 minutes per set. There is no age limit as long as you can spin Akwa seed. Ayo or Akwa game, known as the game of intellectual. This game requires a lot of mathematical skills. Akwa game is played.
Thank you for staying with us on the program this morning on ITV. This is Abuja Network Center, where we shall be taking a look at security situation in Nigeria. It is no longer news that the federal government has been making efforts, has been working relentlessly to ensure that insecurity is tackled to the barest minimum, especially in the northern parts of Nigeria, where banditry, kidnapping, and all manner of crime is holding sway. And we also know that in the 2026 budget, a larger sum of money was appropriated for security. And President Bola Tinubu as well declared a state of emergency on insecurity in Nigeria. Despite all these efforts, Nigeria still struggles with insecurity, even in the Federal Capital Territory, where it is supposed to be the safest place in the whole country, because this is the seat of power. People cannot sleep with their two eyes closed. On this topic, on the program this morning, in this segment, my guest, we shall be x-raying the successes and also the challenges of tackling insecurity in Nigeria. My guest, Comrade Gerald Kachi, shall be joining us via the telephone to discuss this matter. Like they say, security is everyone's business. Government says when you see something, you see something. When you see suspicious movement around your area, please approach the appropriate authority. While we are looking at that, we should take a look at how is the budget going to impact, and what has been the success of how are Nigerians feeling with everything that is going on. Still trying to reach out to my guest. Every day, government comes out with policies on how to tackle insecurity. Security agencies, they briefed on their successes, rescuing kidnapped victims, dealing with their men being killed on the field, and all of that. All these are things that we're going to be looking at. Welfare package is also an issue, because whenever you talk about security issues in Nigeria, one thing that comes up is that the men out there who are laying their lives to secure Nigeria are not properly taken care of. And we have had severally where government have told people that that significant amounts of money have been set apart to take care of insecurity in Nigeria. So as I am still trying to connect with my guest, we will be waiting for this conversation so that we will know the way forward. And we know that whatever it is that we're discussing on the program today, government will be watching, and Nigerians will be expecting that something to be done. Something to be done. I sincerely apologize. We're still trying to get through to him. You know how it is. Trying to get through to our guest. In the FCT, at the beginning of 2026, in January, there was a case of one chance in 1 week, 2 people were killed. One happened to be a young nurse that just closed from work, and unfortunately she got caught up in one of these bad vehicles where she ended up dead. Days later, I think the next day, her corpse was discovered. In that same week, lawyer to an elderly woman was also found dead. All this happened because they found themselves in the wrong vehicle. Hello? Good morning.
Yes. It's Comrade Gerald Kachi.
I know, sir. Comrade Gerald Kachi, welcome on the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. X-raying the security challenges in Nigeria, the successes so far and the challenges, how can you put them side by side? Are we gaining in the fight against insecurity in Nigeria?
When you talk about success as a government, as a people, with regards to fight against insecurity in Nigeria, you have to make consideration to a lot of things and a lot of factors whenever you talk about insecurity. First, Nigerian fight against insecurity has been long, complex, and uneven. From Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast to banditry kidnappings in the northwest, farmer-herder conflicts or clashes in the middle belt, separatist agitations and kidnappings in the southeast and the southwest, oil theft in the Niger Delta. Insecurity has become a national emergency, not a regional problem. The government also claims progress. Citizens express mixed feelings whenever these things are said, while communities on the front line often tell a different story, as recently observed when the community leader and the clergy, announced kidnapping of over 170 persons, and you begin to hear government agencies like police denying it. These are some of the things that put it neither here nor there. But then you look at it, successes recorded so far. Let's be fair. They have been gained, even if fragile. Military security gains a lot. Boko Haram has been significantly degraded compared to 2014 and 2015, when terrorists were openly, declaring seized territories. Several top insurgent commanders have been neutralized, like Shekau, and many others. And many have been forced to surrender. Many communities have been recovered from these criminals. And roads have been reopened both in Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, and most states in the northeast. We have also seen increased joint operations involving the Nigerian Army, Air Force, Police, DSS, Civil Defense, among others. So we have seen a multinational joint task force with Chad, Niger, Cameroon, has really improved border security coordination with regards to intelligence sharing across borders, which has reduced free movement of terrorists. You look at the recent surge against insecurity, against insurgents, with the use of technology and intelligence, greater use of drones and area surveillance, and intelligence-led operations have led to a lot of successes in recent times. So we give Nigeria a thumbs up in those areas. We have seen some success in tracking kidnapping syndicates and dismantling camps. And of course, you look at the issue of the radicalization and these terrorists that surrenders. Those, it runs into thousands of insurgents. And their families have also surrendered under the Operation Safe Corridor. This has led to reduced active fighters and provided more intelligence on insurgency network. You can also make mention of maybe the challenges we are facing as a people today that is undermining the fight. This is where the real conversation gets deep. We have seen a persistent and adoptive threats. Most of these terror groups that have different names, either you call them ISWAP, Boko Haram, Lakaruwa, they have different names. They have changed tactics from time to time, from territorial control to guerrilla warfare, ambushes and IEDs that they normally plant. You look at banditry, it has become commercialized, driven by ransom economy. It appears like what is thriving today. Criminals exploit ungoverned spaces and forests to perpetuate such evil. We talk about weak policing and local security, and that is where we in the civil society are pushing for state security, state policing. Nigeria is over-militarized but under-policed. Police are overstretched, under-equipped, and often reactive rather than preventive. Community intelligence is weak due to fear and lack or cited with regards to the case I cited earlier, where communities announce challenges, and then you begin to hear even those who are supposed to show empathy begin to, in the name of damage control, erode those trust and confidence that people are supposed to have in their system. But then you look at some of the things that fuel this insecurity. Number one among all of them is poverty, unemployment, and that of school children. Insecurity feeds on joblessness, illiteracy, and hopelessness. Millions of out-of-school children, especially in the North, remain recruitment reservoirs for criminals. So you cannot win a war when next generation is being abandoned on the streets. Governance and accountability deficit. There has been allegation of corruption in defense procurement, poor welfare for security personnel, which affects the morale of men and officers on ground that are fighting this insecurity. Politicization of insecurity, you blame games rather than solutions. Human rights concerns, report of extrajudicial action, prolonged detentions and civil casualties in the front line of engagement. This sometimes fuels resentment and radicalization instead of peace. So, I believe that civil society and public perspective should be anchored to promotion, protection, and the defense of rights of citizens. Victims of attack and displaced persons are often forgotten once headlines fade. So we must look into that area and ensure that while we are fighting this insurgency, we must find a way to, arrest victim attacks.
You said as of the success, we will do that right from the administration of Muhammadu Buhari, where we keep getting this large number of terrorists surrendering, and they call them repentant, and this particular part of the successes. But lots of Nigerians do not see it that way. Reason being that they ask the question, how many of these people, because the last time they said that they have about 300,000 of them that have repented. And questions are being asked. Do Nigeria has what it takes to debrief these people, to de-radicalize them, to make sure that they can be really reintegrated into the society and they will be upright citizens?
Yes, I think with sincerity and commitment towards it, we can do it, especially if we invest more in education, social services, and the jobs creation. Take, for example, we had a similar situation, even though it's not terrorism, we had similar situation in the Niger Delta in the early 2000s until late former President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, did intervention with regards to amnesty, and we saw the way they carried that amnesty with regards to those who surrender taken to school, both and abroad. And we saw this we have had, and most of them now are traditional rulers in different areas. Most of them are contractors to the federal government. So education as a security strategy, we must aggressively tackle out-of-school children. and also ensure that those who surrender are properly put into it. It shouldn't be that you surrender, after some weeks they will leave you at your own, thinking that maybe because of regret and submission you have made, that those things have gone out of you. No. If criminal terrorist surrenders, after the radicalization, they should take the person to school. They should take, if possible, a boarding school. Out of that region, we should make sure that we reform all these things. And then we should also look at this girl child education, which we must make a priority. School must be protected and rebuilt and made attractive. I think with that, it will help with the issue of those who have surrendered the radicalization, the government of aging. We must look at, and just reform is no longer optional. We must also look at the speedy prosecution of kidnappers, terrorists, and their sponsors, and the culture of impunity that we have seen in our system. And then we, of course, from time to time, they must show political will and honest leadership. It shouldn't be that our allies in the West will begin to call Fighter White House, will begin to sit up. No. Leaders must be, okay.
Yeah, so what would you say to those who are of the opinion that bandits, these people should also, that there should be a dialogue? Because we know that in the past, some governors resort to dialoguing with this, with bandits. And until today, there are people who still feel that this path should be told, regardless. What would you say?
I declare.
What is your take on the opinion by some people that governments should engage bandits in negotiation? I've seen in the past where some governors actually did that, but it did not solve the problem.
You do not think that this of engagement that we have time to has failed it to happen? Yes, it worked because in the Niger Delta, because Niger Delta have a very valid point from their end when it talks about their push for either sanitization of the environment where those oils are being mined, or maybe resource control or what have you. But you look at the issue of terrorism, what can you say that they are really fighting for? To start with them. You understand? Nigeria fight against insecurity must not be, pushed towards negotiation with these criminals. It cannot help the system. When you negotiate with these terrorists, how do you then provide justice to victims of this terrorism? Certainly, if you do that, insecurity will continue to, show up, because it becomes a lucrative business. It becomes because of this kind of negotiations is why you begin to see people are not supposed to, abuse our country, begin to refer us as the disgraced country, like Donald Trump, we oftentimes tweet.
All right, let's talk about the issue of trust. As a human rights activist, and governments always tell citizens, if you see something, say something. But we know that over the years, that trust has been eroded between security agents and the people.
Trust.
Yes, trust. How can that trust be rebuilt between citizens and security agencies?
When you talk about trust from citizens to their government, it starts with credibility. When government denies and later admits of a particular, say for example, kidnapping or abductions, it's one of the things that erodes trust. Yes, some successes, pardon me, some successes have been recorded in the fight against insecurity, but credibility is the missing link. When government initially denies abductions or kidnappings, only to later confirm them, especially after pressure from victims, churches, communities, or international attention, it creates three dangerous consequences. One, erosion of public trust. Citizens begin to doubt official security briefings. Two, communities feel abandoned and silenced. Three, victims see denial as a secondary victimization. Insecurity thrives where truth is delayed or managed, not confronted. And that is why you begin to see people begin to politicize the situation, and the country begin to bring propagandas like Christian genocide, and of course the bully-in-chief of the global order begin to talk about country of particular concern. Denial and acceptance is one of the things that weaken trust. So it fuels conspiracy theories that we oftentimes refer government to. We are initially downplayed or denied before authorities later acknowledge incidents. Even when government intentions are to avoid panic, denials often backfires. It validates extremist propaganda and agenda. It strengthens the belief that some lives matter less than others. Perception in security matters is as powerful as reality. So, in this kind of situation, I think we need to rejig our system. And in rejigging our system, we need the service chief to be honest. A situation where you see denial and admission letter, there should be consequences for such kind of things. That will improve trust. If, for example, CP of Katsina or Kaduna or what have you, something will happen under his watch, and his state PPRO will come and deny it only to admit. It shows that the person is not really in charge. There are better ways of presenting things without even still achieve the same panic reduction which you want public to engage in. Not necessarily causing secondary victimization to already traumatize citizens by denying and making them look as if they are left. Of course, there's a video that's trending since yesterday where a mother was going around begging citizens to support, to raise money to free the kidnapped daughter. Things like what we have seen, denial and admission, is one of the things that fuels it. It begins to show that, make it look like we have a failed society, a failed government. And that is not the case. So I expect our Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to sit up in those areas. Anywhere we begin to see things that portray us in a bad image, like what we saw recently, denial and admission. It's either those persons should be removed from office and sent to another place where they can function properly, or they are made to face consequences. By so doing, it will help us in the pursuit of insecurity with genuineness and commitment, because those denial and admission will weaken intelligence. People in that community will not have that confidence to go and share security information with those that can easily deny at any time and the same admit. And we have seen even the government. Sometime last year, there were reports of military coup. It was vehemently denied. What's the sense of denying it? When
just 2 days ago,
Nigerians prefer democracy, 95% of Nigerians will stand by his government to protect his government that he lawfully elected. But then you deny to those people, only for these few past days, begin to present about 16 officers that will be facing, what do you call it? Court-martialing. What does it tell? You deny a lot of things only to go. So it doesn't give credibility to the government. What we should do differently, adopt early acknowledgement protocol. We are aware, we are investigating, is better than denial.
And we're on top of the situation.
We have been on top of the situation from 1960. We have not come down. We can use another phrase. that can help us better, you know.
Okay, you just help them with another word. We are investigating. So you just help them with another word. We are investigating.
Yes, we can say we are aware, we are investigating. It's better than all these denial.
Comrade, I'll have to cut through your thoughts. Thank you very much for being part of the program. My time is up here.
Let them know that denial today and admission tomorrow does not protect national image. It destroys public trust. Insecurity is worsened when victims have to shout before they are believed. Whether Christian, Muslim, or traditionalist, every Nigerian life deserves equal protection. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Comrade Gerald Kachi, human rights activist. You heard it all. Governments need to sit up. Whenever something happens, there is a denial, there is acceptance. Heads should rule. Who was in charge? Who did what? Who did not do what they are supposed to do? This is what citizens are expecting to see from those who are supposed to protect them, those who are supposed to make Nigeria a safe haven for them. This is all we've got from the Abuja Network Center. We will be taking a short break, after which Lagos Network Center will come. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain, which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
It's the continuation on TMI this beautiful morning on ITV. I am Marcelina. Many thanks for staying with us this beautiful morning. We're going to be talking about the Nigerian-Turkey relations. What is new? What this new $5 billion trade target means for economy and security. And our guest this morning that will be helping us analyze today's topic is Mr. Kenny Odubemi. Hello, good morning, Mr. Kenny.
Good morning. It's always my pleasure to be with you on Independent Television. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
All right, this beautiful morning, like I said, we saw that the president visited Turkey, and we're going to be looking at turning our focus today on Nigerians' growing international partnerships. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is visited Turkey, where Nigeria and Turkey has set an ambitious target, increasing bilateral trade from about $2 billion to $5 billion beyond trade. The talks also touch on security, defense cooperation, and investment. The big question is, what does this partnership really mean for Nigerian economy and for everyday Nigerians? I mean, for the ordinary Nigerians. We saw that Mr. Kenny, we saw that Nigeria and Turkey, this reaffirmed a strategic partnership aim, at significantly expanding their bilateral relationships, both economically, politically, and in security cooperation, as part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's official state visit to Ankara. Both nations set an ambitious target, to grow their annual trade volume from roughly $2 billion to $5 billion. So what is your take?
Thank you very much.
ITV, certainly the best.
The other side we have the boys. always.
There's a Minister of Trade and Investment that went to sue. There's manufacturing. So they went with a whole lot of things to present opportunity. It is now time now for our private investors, both large corporation, medium, to now interface with the Trade and Investment Ministry to be able to know how do they set up a proper network in order to benefit from what we're doing. But this is an opportunity that will touch all the nook and cranny, and more so. And that area that we're going to give much for is on infrastructure development. You can see we have a lot of coastal air that is going, coastal road that is going, quite a lot of investment are going in the country. But there's a need for us to now begin to go on a global standard, global benchmark, to be able to associate with proven with company, with country that have a proven quality status. And this is one of those things Turkish is bringing. They're bringing in a halal quality infrastructure that has established across all the sectors. Is it medical? Is it education? Quite a lot of other sectors in Nigeria that will benefit immensely from this. And
so you mean what you're trying to say now is that there are lots of sectors in Nigeria that would benefit from this?
Almost all the sectors in Nigeria, if they can come together, you understand. You know, if you say oil and gas, you understand. They had to be a kind of SP, we call it special purpose vehicle, to drive it in such a way that everybody must come under a certain umbrella to transact the business. Invariably, is an opportunity that will cut out. We're talking about 5 billion, so we should be able to have it to cut across to ease quite a lot of things. No, it's be an opportunity to provide, because this it will improve industrial capacity. It will provide competitiveness in export, and also we have a boost in our energy. You can see our energy grid is every time collapses. Mm-hmm. These are the areas that we're talking about. Then we don't have opportunity to have a strategic supply mechanism, out of which we're going to streamline process and procedure to be able to look at the quality measure. And I think, Nana, most importantly, the cooperation, the bilateral agreement, the multilateral agreement between Nigeria will help. And two, you know that there will be inflow, forex inflow, because they will be coming to invest in Nigeria. We will also be investing in them. There's an import into the country, which we're going to do. There's export to the country. Whichever we look at them, they will have a net balance Nigeria is going to get.
So, Otumba, beyond oil exports, what does the push to reach a 5 billion trade volume with Turkey mean for Nigerian economy beyond oil exports?
What we're saying, there are two things: non-oil and oil export. For instance, in our agric, let me give you a typical example in agric. We produce a lot in agric. you know, you now have Nigerian first policy that you don't just, you know, prior to this time around, we export our raw material just like that. We'll not be able to earn something significant. We're saying that the Nigerian first policy, at least you have a 30% value addition, which means we can imagine the kind of product. Talk of any other agric product, you understand? There are byproducts in it that could generate. Is it cocoa? Is it mention any product? Quite a lot of derivative can be from that, which means it's an opportunity for, even if it is agric we settle, and we're not going to set agric. So agric will benefit from it. Agric from it, is it the cash crop? Is it the food crop? Is it the vegetable crop? Because daily people consume a lot of things. So agric will occupy a top position. Then you talk about energy. We talk about marine, you understand? You talk about marine. You talk about fish. You know, we, as of today now, we're only producing about 1 million ton of fish. And with the cooperation, we understand with the technology, we can even improve in such a way that we're not going to import fish again. So to the best of my knowledge, this is all hands must be on deck. We must also show interest. We must also ensure that we conduct ourselves in a manner that will also encourage and motivate other, because if we're able to handle this transaction well with Turkey, I can assure you other countries will show more interest in Nigeria.
So what are the short and medium-term steps Nigeria needs to take to achieve this particular goal?
Interestingly, the first is this, that one will fall on what we call project plan of action. Now they've set a kind of call, a project charter. The vision is to increase from 2 billion today. There's a number of milestones. They now have to study them. They now have to prioritize the sector. Remember, most of business is based on need basis. We now need to, that's why the joint economic and trade council have to be on ground to be able to look at what are the immediate needs in Turkey. What are the immediate needs in Nigeria? What is it that you can start with, you know, a low-hanging fruit that we can explore? What is it that we can do that we don't need quite a lot of time to be able to quite a lot of time to facilitate? Those are the essence of the Joint Economic Committee will do. Sit down and see how can we facilitate. What is ease? What with ease? What can we do? What are the low-hanging fruit we're going to start? You know, we can't do that until we're involved in deliberation, because we need to have a need basis. What is the need of Turkey? What is the need here? Which area are we concentrating on? Where are the low-hanging fruit? I'm saying now that the low-hanging fruit is on an export, is on an oil export, is on gas, is on mineral resources, because those are readily available. They will not talk, because it takes some time to be able to have some product unless we have the product on ground. And even before quality standard has to be put in place, I think those are the issues that the Joint Committee will have to sit down with the trade investment to be able to facilitate and agree on what to do. But I think it's an opportunity that will benefit all. You benefit all in the sense that look at what is happening in Nasarawa. Look at what is happening in the north, you know, where we have mineral deposit. Look at what is happening in the southwest, you know, where we have a lot of agric product. Look at what is happening in the rice mill. We have a lot of opportunity. It's time for us to extend.
All right, let's talk on security cooperation, Otumba. The agreements include defense and counter-terrorism cooperation. How significant is Turkish involvement in strengthening Nigerian security architecture?
Thank you very much. If there's anything that we need, that we should be desperate to be in haste, is about insecurity. You agree with me now, that prior to this time, before the exchange of the current Minister of Defense, you know, almost every week we have over 100 people killed. Northeast, we have Lukarewa in Northeast. We have insurgency. We have insurgents. We have Lukarewa. We have Madaba across. Even North Central completely disseminated in terms of Kwara, Kogi, and Benue and Benue State and Plateau State, why the epic center, where people are being, but as of now, you see now that it has gone down. What are we looking at? It means now that things have to change. If we continue to do things in the same way, we can get a good result. So one of those things that will benefit, where Nigeria will benefit, is on what we call defense training. There had to be a strategic overhaul of defense mechanism that we have in terms of our command, in terms of our technology. Two, the technology is one blue. We need to have a better drone. We need to have a better high bomber that will rise up above 10,000, 20,000, you know, 911, 919, you know, bomber that will rise above 10 feet, that even no matter the projectile of the insurgent to get it. Look at what happened now. With the US coming in now, they were in the Gulf, they're not close to here, and they can do high precision target to be able to hit the target here. So, you know, they can only come, you know, they can come for a short time. They can't be there for long. So we also need to build capacity capacity. Those are the areas. Then two, it means that there must be a security cooperation. There must be an intelligence team from Turkey that will be relayed to here, so that we're able to run. But the case of one-off is a question of an established understanding between them. One, that will face of counterterrorism and intelligence. And which means that our people need to be trained. Our people need to, the understanding, the capacity has to be, we have to up our game.
So you think Turkish involvement will help?
Oh yes, there will be retooling, reskilling, that's all you need. And for the change of command, because it means that you can imagine how a major general was killed, just like the Uba was killed like that. It means that there's a problem with the command mechanism. How do you expect a command that is given that first hand of insurgents to overhaul the only citizens? This is the protest as that in terms of able to. They go with the region. For instance, it's a region that we have northwest into north central. The area that is a bit out of is in the south. The southwest, the south. Quite a lot of people are coming to the southwest because the southeast we still have sit-at-home order. You understand? It's even decimating. You can see the recent protests there. So you will see now that Nigeria is on a gunpowder. So we need a change in technology, change in approach, change in our capacity of upgrading, upskilling, and that's what we're going to do. This will involve strengthening our military and security type, because if there's a change in command, if they now know that before now US was coming intermittently, but now there's a better change of hand. They've been able to train, they'll be able to reallocate resources. It will change. For instance, now they will be more coordinated. It means now that the insurgency will not be able to understand the process flow, and that to me now that it will now offer what we call a coordinated response to the international stability that we have.
Otumba, you made mention of the US. How should Nigeria at this point balance its foreign policy interests between partners like Turkey, the US, China, and EU to maximize economic growth?
Thank you very much. You find out that when the US intervention is different from what Turkey is coming. US is not coming for business investment. They're only coming in now to offer support because of the peculiar, they designated Nigeria as a country of peculiar concern. And you can issue of the genocidal issue, whether it is Christian or Muslim, there's a genocidal issue that is inherent that people have in store. So their own is, they're not coming for trade, but the dealing with Dubai is strictly for trade and investment. And everything is all encompassing. When you see trade and investment, and it doesn't mean that we're not doing particular trade with the US. We also import to the US. But we have to have a diversified base. Because if you continue to import from a country, the insurgents will understand what you're doing. They also have international connection. But when you have a broad approach into what you do, you're able to now have many countries, and you make yourself very unpredictable, and you can have a transnational approach to transnational trade that have offset our instability. It means now that you have a proper coordination. Look at how they're decimating them now. Look at how the insurgents are even crying. They are on their toes. It's because we've changed the command. The earlier the better. We get so many involved with people who have evidences of performance, of competence to help us, out of which I believe Turkey is going to go far. For instance, the current Minister of Defense has been is a man of global standard when it comes to security, and he has been able to show his skill and competences. Remember, prior to this time around, before he was relieved of his position, before he was pulled out of army, things were going on. Immediately we were pulled out of army within 3 months. We have the hospital. So we can call ourselves being in the advantage position to be able to deal with that problem with a positive impact, a positive cooperation.
In your opinion, Otumba, what risks or downsides could emerge from deeper economic ties with Turkey?
Interestingly, there's no transaction, there's no relationship that doesn't have its own pros and consequences. But if you look at it carefully, what we're saying is this: the strength in it is the two of them coming together, work together. That brings sense and a positive approach, you understand. The opportunity in it is that, one, there's a lot of opportunity in Nigeria, there's a lot of opportunity over there that we can trade. But the threat is in the Nigerian factor. That's quite the greed, the corruption. You understand? How do we manage it? Those are the things here. You know, when you deal with Nigeria, they will always say, may Nigeria not happen to you. Because quite a lot of relationship, quite a lot of understanding, quite a lot of bilateral, multilateral relationship have not seen the light of the day because of the corrupt tendency of our leader. Government, the president can only lead, the minister can only influence, but we have private organization, private that will be involved. We have quite a lot of business oriented people. We have a lot of entrepreneurs that will involve. Do they have the same policy? Do they have the mind? Do they have the Nigerian force in them? Those are the risks of corruption, endemic and systemic corruption, ability to show greed, not even talking about the problem, and also hegemonic and political insinuation, political innuendo, inability and selfish interest of people rather than fulfilling what we're talking about. So those are the areas that will stop this relationship.
Okay, Otumba, I know you really do not want to talk. I wanted to talk about it. I've been seeing a couple of videos of the president down, and a lot of persons said he missed. The president said his health issue. I mean, our president is aged, you know, at the same time, anybody can misstep, and you can just fall down. It happens. But different persons are made with their opinion. Let's get your Otumba.
That the police to stop. This president talking about. It is true. Let's be frank. Those people that were involved in protocol are to be blamed. Our president is old. He's not a young man. There are incidents that are associated with old age. We all know. Our president is frail. He's not a young man. But how are we managing it? So I always want to major in. I want to major in something that will improve, that will contribute to the growth of Nigeria. Yes, we also for him, and we voted for him. Is that not so? So what we're looking at in our own to advance, education should have been traveling for a long. It was in Dubai before coming in now. The question we're saying is that the medical personnel, do they satisfy the goal? So we should be able to look into and him falling down. It shows his so why are we pushing? Because presidents sometimes want to go, but vice side, all of them are to be here. This is how I was saying. So I want to say, because the leadership reflects on the kind of the advisory council of the president and his own position. It is not good enough for the president to fall down. It shows him, and that speaks to what in Nigeria. If we have leadership we expect, is not. I think it is time, because it doesn't mean the man but if he's sick, I don't think he will. I also want to I will blame the people. I will also blame cabinet that the president to find their incidents to other people device that young. He can go. Us can lead. It is not every president should go to almost anywhere. That is my take. However, I want to believe now that at the end of the day, he has a lot. He's only the leader of the delegation. He's not even young. There's a lot of people that follow him to do nothing good incident to.
Do you think age should be
too much about age? It dwell about being positioned. Are you in a position? If we talk about age, it's
Get ready, Benin City. Kada Unity Cup is back. The Edo State Football Association, in collaboration with Kada Plaza, proudly present Kada Unity Cup 2026. This prestigious annual tournament brings together 12 elite teams of Nigeria's military and paramilitary agencies as they battle for glory and the coveted cup. From February 2nd to 16, 2026, come watch Nigeria's finest forces clash on the pitch. The Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Police, DSS, EFCC, Nigerian Immigration Service, NSCDC, NDLEA, Nigerian Correctional Service, Federal Safety Corps, Federal Fire Service, and the NYSC. Come experience passion and pure football action in the Chief Lucky Grenadier Mini Sports Complex, OT Resort 1, Lucky Lane off Etete Road, GRA in Benin City. This Unity tournament will be kicked off by His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebolo, the Executive Governor of Edo State, on Monday, February 2nd at 10 a.m. This tournament is proudly brought to you by Kada Plaza, OT Hotel, Fast Microfinance Bank, Igbidido University Okada, Independent Television and Radio, Ghost Time Engineering Limited, OT Boutique Hotel and Spa, Providence Hill Hotel, Lifestyle Mall, and Okada Microfinance Bank. For sponsorship and participation, please call 080-630-45544. Kada Unity Cup 2026. 12 teams, 12 forces, one unforgettable football battle.
Arts for luxury, serenity, and relaxation. Welcome to
In the evening of the initiation day, all the newly initiated Edion danced to the residents of the Edion Way and also visited some homes of the various senior elders, where Chief Elder Ogbeide Onwonse was very conspicuous, especially at the country home of Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion with his family on the night of the initiation. On the following morning, as part of the rite to be performed by the newly initiated Edion in
A very pleasant morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the news update on ITV. I am Lawrence Osifo. The management of Independent Television and Radio, led by the Managing Director, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, has been commended for ensuring broadcast excellence in Nigeria. Stakeholders made the remark during the station's 2026 Stakeholders Engagement Meeting held at the Ehizua Hub located at Airport Road in Benin City. Joy Obarisiagmo brings us details.
The annual ITV and Radio Stakeholders Engagement Meeting provides a platform for the station to receive feedback from stakeholders and clients on ways to improve service delivery, while also expressing appreciation for their continued patronage over the years. On Wednesday, the chairman of the organizing committee and general manager, Group Commercial Services, Mrs. Odun Balogun, thanked stakeholders and clients for their unwavering support and patronage. She outlined the services offered by Independent Television and Radio, which has endeared the station to the society.
Your partnership is incredibly important to us, and we cannot take it for granted as we are poised to serve you better.
In his remarks, the Managing Director, Independent Television and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, assured stakeholders that their interest would always remain a top priority. He announced that ITV will review its payable rates for the first time in 5 years, effective April 1st, 2026, in consideration of Nigeria's current economic realities.
My dear stakeholders, to continue to deliver the best to our TV viewers and listenership, on whose commitment our partnership has thrived, we humbly and painstakingly need to make this most needed rate adjustment in this destructive era.
Other notable speakers at the meeting included the Acting Zonal Director of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, Mrs. Helen Wanze, and the Edo State Zonal Director of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ACON, Mr. Tiamiyu Akim.
Your commitment to delivering quality content and also promoting local talent is truly commendable. We also commend you for abiding by the rules and regulations of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. I wish to urge stakeholders to please note that it's crucial to get our advertisement vetted by ACON before exposure.
The meeting also featured an interactive section where clients were given the opportunity to clear gray areas.
On behalf of NAPI and Images and Voices, I want to say a big thank you to ITV and Radio for taking the lead in terms of inclusive broadcasting in Nigeria.
Those staff that goes around to interview people, they are well cautious, disciplined, and vulnerable.
I cannot but talk about the changes in the administration, which Obaseki has taken up of late.
In response to stakeholders' concerns, Engineer Elvis Obaseki disclosed that ITV will provide sign language interpreters to cater to the hearing impaired. He also announced the availability of visuals of the popular radio breakfast program Man Around Town across Nigeria via local and digital platforms.
To whom much is given, much is expected. We will do a lot more.
The Executive Director of Finance and Administration, Lady Celerina Ojomo, in a vote of thanks, expressed gratitude to the founder of the station and ASAMA of Benin, His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawa Igbenedion, and the stakeholders who attended the event.
Without you, I don't think there will be us, ITV. So I say thank you very much.
The meeting was attended by several dignitaries, including the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Honorable Dennis Idahosa, represented by his Chief Press Secretary, Friday Agedo. From Benin, Joy Obaisiagbon, ITV News.
Several complaints have characterized the delay in processing driver's license to prospective users in Benin City by the Board of Internal Revenue over alleged lapses in service delivery at one of the offices located on Forestry Road in Benin City. Shalom Omugara reports that the complaints said that the unhealthy development needs urgent attention on the renewal of driver's license. The report filed in by Shalom Omugara is presented by Joy Obaresiamo.
The renewal of driver's license in most cases is 4 years. It is the responsibility of the Internal Revenue Board to carry out the renewal service. However, some customers at the forestry office of the agency were not fortunate as they were made to go through stress following the lapses associated with the system. Some customers were scared to comment on the issue for fear of intimidation. Mr. Mashido Igage, public affairs analyst, narrated how for a couple of days he was made to go through hell over renewal of license. He said he arrived early but was not attended to by officials on duty despite waiting for several hours, as his presence and that of some selected persons were reportedly ignored without any formal explanation. Mr. Mashido, however, described the development as unfair and contrary to acceptable public service standards.
There are individuals that I met in this office yesterday who claimed to have been here, coming here every day for the past 1 week. Some said 2 weeks, some said a month, and they have not been captured. This is wrong and this is bad. This got to change. If we want a better country, we at the bottom must change our approach on how we do things.
The news crew visited the Federal Road Safety Corps Edo Sector Command to seek official clarification on the allegations. Deputy Corps Commander Mrs. Obiageli Iwoala reacts to the allegations.
You will be captured when
after payment, if your payment drops, if it doesn't drop, they'll be waiting for it to drop. There's no way they can capture you with another person's payments. Some will pay, but because of network problem, it may not drop. So it's possible that the person's own had not dropped and he came. Definitely they will give him number in order for him to wait for the capture. But if it doesn't drop, there's no way they can capture him.
From Benin, Joy Obaisiagmo, ITV News.
A prominent businessman and renowned traditional title holder, Otumba Adekunle Ojora, has passed away at the age of 93. Ojora, who is the father of Mrs. Toyin Ojora Saraki, wife of former Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki and former First Lady of Kwara State, died on Wednesday, January 28, 2026. The Lagos royal family of the late Chief Prince Abdul Lasisi Ajayi Ojora confirmed his death in a statement signed by Mrs. Toyin Ojora Saraki on behalf of the family. The statement noted that the late Ojora would be buried in Lagos in accordance with Islamic rites. He is survived by his wife, Erelu Ojualakpe Ojora, his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And with that, we'll call it a wrap on the news update for this time. I am Lawrence Osifo, thanking you for watching. Up next is TMI Socials with Anuolo Akbo Stevens. Good morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
The Ekoko masquerades from Ute village, whose cult is connected with Obaeware and his mother, Elere, appear on this occasion to bless the Oba. Ekoko is a ritual masquerade that dances to please the guests and the Oba.
Good morning. This is TMI Socials. Welcome on board. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. I better still call me a social media butterfly. Now, reactions are still trailing the fall of our president right there in Turkey. Well, this time around, the spokesperson to the president, Bayo Onanuga, has come out to explain the reason why our president stumbled in Turkey. The word stumbled. Now, Onanuga, while addressing inquiries on Tuesday, said Tinubu lost the balance in Turkey because he stepped on a metal object. He says, and I quote, that the president stepped on a metal on the floor which made him lose his balance. Now, the incident happened when our president was walking alongside the Turkish counterpart president, Recep Erdogan, in Ankara, the capital of Turkey. Let's take a look. He doubled for the new year. No democracy this time around. But how did you take this online? Moving over to reactions and tweets. We'll start off with this one on X, who wrote, yes, let's have our first reaction. This one, Joseph eBay says, there is a lot of going on things in Nigeria politically and otherwise, but seeing Nigerians laugh and mock an aging president is honestly pathetic. That could be anyone's father, yet people's hearts are too dark to see it. These are the same people shout about good leadership while their minds are clouded with sheer wickedness. This lack of empathy, this absence of love for one another is exactly why Nigeria keeps sinking. Another user on X wrote, falling down is even natural things to humans. He is not the first to fall down. Did he stood up? Actually stand up. Oh boy, anyway. Well, still on this one, this user David wrote, and he wants to go another 4 years, and there are young people here finding excuses to defend it. Oh well, it's still an ongoing drama on social media, trust me. But away from that, let's move over to another major trending issue. Now, yesterday, social media was agog with a mild drama between the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umar Eno. When he visited a project, he openly expressed displeasure over the handling of the hospital construction project, and he queried the contractor for beginning the work with the mortuary section instead of the main hospital building. So here is the gist. The contractor handling the project, instead of kickstarting with the main hospital building first, he started with the mortuary, just immediately entering into the building. And a lot of persons reacted to it online, but wondering how it went down. In case you missed it, take a look.
Yeah, it doesn't work with me. There's no plan for me to use.
Yes, bring that right. This is where we are right now. Now, we started with this.
Where is it?
This is where exactly here. Exactly here. We started with the gatehouse and the mortuary.
Where is the gatehouse? Why do you start mortuary first? Why mortuary? I said build hospital, you go start with mortuary. Don't say that kind of a thing again. Don't show me mortuary again.
As a matter of fact.
Well, mortuary is not his portion this year, and certainly not your portion, because tell me why you would start with the mortuary first instead of the hospital. Anyway, reacting to it online, we have a couple of reactions. We'll start off with this one on Instagram, who wrote, come to think of it, why would he begin with a mortuary? And she's laughing out loud. So hilarious. Another user says, wow, he looks so young and healthy. Is he 21? Well, if you know, you know. Now, still on Instagram, this user wrote, start with the hospital first. The idea is to save life. As you start with the mortuary, any need for a hospital? Good question. Now, finally, this user wrote on Instagram, after mortuary, chapel. This contractor doesn't mean well for the people. Umazi Obina says on Instagram. At all. Now, away from that, we'll move over to abroad, where there is a viral video now making rounds online showing the former Nigerian Minister of Petroleum Resources and one-time OPEC President, Diezani Alison Madueke, stepping out of a court in London. Take a look.
That was quick today. Got here at 8:30.
Now, this interesting development has reignited public interest regarding the legal battle surrounding the former minister. And of course, trust social media users to react to this. We have a couple of tweets and reactions. Let's start off with this first tweet on X. Chills Dario says, despite all her loot, she couldn't construct concrete bridge of less than 0.3 kilometers to ease movement for her people that uses local canoe to connect to Yenogwa FMC water side. Another user on X still reacting to the story, Senator Obi says, this matter will be in court forever and she will continue to enjoy herself in the UK. Tell me about it. Now, finally, on X, this one wrote, from the high tables of Abuja to the cold streets of London. It's funny how immunity doesn't seem to travel well across the Atlantic. Accountability looks good on everyone. Now, still on TMI socials, away from that to Anambra State, where yesterday we saw the governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo. He says, and I quote, that going forward, any trader in the state who closes their shop will lose possession of their shops. He said this in a state broadcast in the afternoon yesterday. Let's take a look.
That bridge blocked.
It is about our security. Because if you deny 20% of the work days in a year, you are dampening our prosperity. Jobs that need to be created, incomes that need to be earned. That's what this is about. And it should be simple enough to be understood by everybody. 2024, 2025 will be very patient, pleading. 2022, 2023, we are busy fighting all of this. 2026, we are turning on gear 4. Anybody that closes any of it will help you close it for the next week.
Absolutely. Gear 4 is on already and running. Remember that on Monday precisely, he ordered the closure for 1 week of Onitsha main market to the sit-at-home order that he is trying to abolish from that part of the state or the country. Now, of course, Trust Anambra's market women and men to react to this with the closure of the Onitsha main gate right there in Anambra State. Take a look.
That bridge blocked. Onitsha to Asaba blocked. No way in, no way out. Onitsha to Asaba blocked. No way in, no way out. Stand still. Stand still.
Okay, how did you react to this online? Quite a serious one if you ask me. We move over to reactions. Let's start off with this tweet with the user on X who wrote, well, let's see, a lot of persons are talking about economic value to this and more. This user says, this is easy to say by Governor Soludo, but hope he still recalls so many people was injured while some killed before people stopped going to work and businesses on Mondays. What is his assurance on the safety of the people before saying this? That's what matters most. Now, on X, another user has something else to say. Okocha CFC says, I just think it's high time people go back to working Mondays. I support this. Imagine in Aba that Mondays are now days for pool parties. What nonsense. Really? Well, finally, this user wrote, Mr. Soludo Governor, sir, why didn't you deploy the policemen to be on standby in the market on sit-at-home days for the protection of your people against an attack, for them to come out? Do that first, and if people refuse to come out, you can now think of something else. Well, it's an ongoing conversation, and we'll keep you up to speed right here on TMI Socials. Now, we wrap up TMI Socials this morning with a sad story where we saw on social media, on X precisely, a video of a mother calling out for help with her daughter who was on her way to orientation camp. The name Benu Latifa, an only child of an elderly mother, was abducted last Thursday near Ido in Kogi State while traveling to her National Youth Service Corps orientation in Taraba State. Now, kidnappers contacted the family demanding 30 million naira, prompting the desperate roadside appeal with bank details for donations. Take a look at the woman. Okay, so for you who do not understand Yoruba, even though my Yoruba is quite shaky, she said she was calling for help me, any amount you have. Her daughter got kidnapped and they do not have 30 million naira to get her out for the ransom. We'll move over to reactions on this. This one wrote, I had never imagined in my life that my country, Nigeria, will one day be reduced to a place where parents, family members and loved ones will go out on the streets to cry and beg for financial assistance to pay ransom. This is one of the saddest video I have ever seen. Heartbreaking. Another user still on X, Slim, wrote, imagine surviving this crisis, rallying people to raise a ransom in desperation, and just when relief should come, the government shows up to tax the money. Not because profit was made, but simply because money moved. The insensitivity of the system. Ouch. Well, finally, on the story, Tony Roberts says, this NYSC scheme has overstayed its importance. When will lawmakers address it? And I'm going to leave you on with that question today as we get to wrap up TMI Socials. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We hope the ransom is being paid, and of course the government gets to step in to ensure that she is reunited back with her family. I am Anwoluwapo Stevens. We'll do this again, God willing, next week. From all of us on This Morning on ITV, Lagos, Abuja, and right here in Edo State, please stay safe.